On December the 5th, 300 and more years ago, in his study at Christ Church, Oxford, a curious, middle-aged scholar wrote the last lines of one of the most entertaining and amazing books in the world. When one considers the rather forbidding title, Anatomy of Melancholy, its immediate and lasting popularity is not among the least astonishing facts of its singular history. 5 editions appeared before Robert Burton's death, and it had gone into 9 when Dr. Johnson's famous dictum quickened it into new life. If we are to believe Burton, his quaint masterpiece would have never been put into the vulgar tongue, had it not been that mercenary stationers were beginning to frown upon the use of the more elegant Latin. Had the author been permitted to have his way, the book lovers of our own non-classical age might well have been deprived of many hours of quiet satisfaction. Even Samuel Johnson might have lingered in bed to enjoy his morning sleep, and his great dictionary have lacked its caustic reference to the uses of oats. Tristram Shandy might have lacked some of its wit and learning. Charles Lamb would have lost an essay, Milton his Il Penseroso, and Keats his Lamia. Fortunate vulgarity of those mercenary stationers. And 'twas a happy heresy that prompted the stationers of 1811 to issue the handy volumes which drew from Lamb the protest, "What need was there of unearthing the bones of that fantastic old great man to expose them in a winding sheet of newest fashion to modern censure?" For that edition, says Mr. Middleton Murray, is the one which introduced Keats to Burton. The present editors, while respecting Lamb's opinion concerning the desirability of treasuring a stout calf folio of an early issue, do not share his notion of the limited appeal of this work. For the Anatomy is a sort of literary cosmos, an omnium gatherum, a compendium of everything that caught the fancy of a fine and lusty scholar who lived in an unspecialized age. Poetry, medicine, psychology, philosophy, old wives' tales, philology, wars, antiquarian law, theology, morals, history, climatology, food, travel, love, hate, ambition, pride, astrology, art, politics, and a scheme for the establishment of utopia. All these and more are poured forth helter-skelter by this 17th-century mathematician, vicar, rector, and reckoner of nativities, in a style abounding in quaint conceits, sly Rabelaisian humour, and not without a certain vein of unmalicious satire. Prevented by circumstance from taking that place in the world of affairs for which his extraordinary talents and training fitted him, Burton turned to books, and was, without doubt, one of the greatest readers of his time. Dipping into the Anatomy, we find that its author was conversant with Seneca, Horace, Plato, Aristotle, Apuleius, Ariosto, Aretino, Erasmus, Rabelais, Montaigne, Cardan, Scaliger, Bodine, Jason Pratensis, Del Rio, Cornelius Agrippa, Marlowe, Chaucer, Lydgate, and Galen. That he was familiar with nearly all the medical, astrological, and magical books then extant, and that he was well enough acquainted with Ovid, Juvenal, Martial, Lucian, and a host of others to venture innumerable quotations from unaided memory. That he frequently misquotes is very true, but it is none the less a marvel that in so vast a work, filled with thousands of excerpts from classical and post-classical writers, the man was able so neatly to recall the pertinent and apposite with such approximate accuracy.